Okay, good morning. My name is Jim Reese. I'm with our technical services section. We do, I think we were mentioned a little bit yesterday, but we kind of give support in all areas throughout our division. Our office is an office of public record, and so we like to make our records as easily available as possible. One of the tools we use is our website, and in technical services, one of our tasks is to maintain this website and hopefully keep this data flowing out to the public so that that can be used. So so today I'll just be giving a demo of some things on our website where you can find things. There are some test questions. The questions aren't on, hey, where do you find this or that? It's more of what information is out there and available. So to start, our homepage is waterrights.utah.gov. We've added you'll see a little feedback tab to the right of the screen. If you would like to give us feedback, that's where you can do that. We have a quick question.
I'm on a Mac. Is it better to be on Google Chrome versus, say, Safari as far as compatibility with Mac use?
We try to make the website function across browsers. We don't really develop for Safari, or we don't test. Many things should work, but if there may be things that don't.
So maybe Google Chrome's better.
Google Chrome's usually the best.
Okay.
But that's the short answer. Okay. So you can click on this, and there's a little pop-out that will give you a place where you can put in some comments. You can do a screen capture. So if you guys see something that's amiss on the website and you think it's wrong, you can do a screen capture and send that as a part of your comment, and then provide your email address if you want us to get back to you. We're always looking to improve. Okay, so and then across the top we've got some menus. I'll just start with the under Contact Us. We've got a link to our regional office map. You can use this to, based on your location, determine which regional office you might need to deal with for a particular water right. We also have all our contact information, mailing addresses and email addresses of importance of our staff members. Under laws and agreements, there's a couple things I want to point out. We have a link here to administrative rules. Those have been mentioned a few times. I know with well drilling, geothermal wells, their administrative rules have been established. This is a link to where you can find those rules. Right here we have a link to our water rights statutes. And this is a page that has the different statutes and sections broken down by subject. Sometimes that's an easier way to look at things, or there's also a link directly to the legislature's webpage where those statutes are kept. We have different meetings that can be looked at. We have when we have public meetings, we list those here. If we have links to information on past meetings, oftentimes we'll record those meetings, and there'll be a hearing recording of that meeting, or if there are any materials handed out, PowerPoint presentations, that information can be looked at. We also have our hearing schedule. So if you're involved in water right hearings, we can. These are all the hearings that are currently scheduled and their locations, so you can keep track of those. There's also a link to hearing recordings. Every hearing is recorded and can be accessed here and listened to. I believe Willa talked about this and showed this a little bit, but down here on the right, We have a map where you can pick a water right area and get all the information about that water right area, different policies that for water rights in that area. And you can get information on surface and groundwater, whether or not there may be a groundwater management plan associated with that area. And that's where that is found. Okay, so right here in the center, we've got links that kind of take us to the different programs that the state engineer has charge of. Also right here in the top left, you see the same items except a few more. Proof, title transfers, they get their own link here. So if you want to know more about proofs or title, that's where you can go. And then this page was mentioned many times. Right here on the right, we have the applications and forms. These are all the various applications that can be might be filed with our office. You'll see there's a key at the top. We have forms that are strictly in PDF form. You print the form, fill it out by hand. Others have this other icon, they're web application forms. You can click on those and maybe type in a water right number and it will autofill a majority of the information, and then there'll be other information that would need to be filled in and then printed. Let's see. And then there's one, the address change, where you can do it completely online. So you can come on here, choose a water right number. Just pick one real quick. It'll list all the owners of that water right. This one only has one. So, and you can come onto this form and type in your new address and hit submit, and that will be sent to our office and processed. Something to keep in mind is on this form, you do need to complete the full address, not just the part you're changing. Okay. Let's see, and something else to point out is this is for the address only. This is not ownership. That has to be done through processes that were talked about yesterday. Okay, so there's a couple ways where you can search for a water right. Right here we have a link right here where you can search. Also if you go under water rights and search, it'll take you to the same place. There's lots of different ways you can search for a water right, okay? First one we'll do is a water right number. So I'm going to type in a water right number. And you can see on here, there's lots of things you can search for. There's also change numbers, exchange numbers. It was mentioned yesterday that sometimes the water right might have an application number or a diligence claim number, and those can also be used to search for and find a water right. So after you search for a water right, this is the viewer page that we have for water rights. You can see it was discussed yesterday about some of the things that make up a water right. So this is broken down into different sections. If there's been any changes filed on the water right, those are listed at the top. The owners, general information such as what type of water right it is, the amount of water, key dates related to this water right, including a priority date, filing dates. The points of diversion for this water right and their locations. Okay, any water uses, these are divided into water use groups as were discussed yesterday. And then if there's other items too that could show up if they're pertinent to the water right. If there were non-uses or extensions filed at any time, they would show up on down below. Okay. Let's see. So a couple other items at the top here. We got a couple tabs. First one is scan documents. If I click on that, I get a list of all the documents that have been scanned and are available to view here. Okay, these are intended to be an exact representation of the physical files that are located here in our office. It's not 100%, but for the most part they are, and they've all been indexed with date, a description of the document. You can change the default sort order is just when they were scanned and added. You can change it to sort by the date of the document. If you come across a document that you can't read, it's possible that we need to make a better scan, and you can click this icon here. And that will tell someone on our staff to rescan that, try to get that better. If you do, I think you may not run across this anymore. I think they've all been indexed. But if you do run across a list of documents where there's no dates and no descriptions, you can click on this please index, and that will also notify somebody that the documents, in that case, the documents have all been scanned and are there available to view. We just don't have these details of what each document is. Okay. So anytime a document, anything happens with a water right file, if it goes on the water right file, physical file, a copy is scanned, uploaded to our system, and it's available here. Okay, there's a print tab where you can get a PDF printout of all these information, their sections, if you'd like to do that. And then also we have there's a link to view map, and you can take this water right, and this takes you to our map viewer. Okay, it searches for that water right within our map viewer, and it displays the point of diversion and also the place of use. The place of use in this case has for this water it has been digitized and is shown. If that hasn't happened, then just the 40-acre tracts that have been specified for the place of use would be shown. Okay. So I also want to show kind of what we look at with a change application. Okay. So this particular water has two changes: one that was filed, and then its status says it was withdrawn, and then a subsequent change was filed. You can click on this change. The format is similar, but in the case of a change, you have a heretofore column and a hereafter column, and so you can see what the change is proposing. The heretofore shows what the use is, what the configuration of the water right is, and then what the configuration will be upon the change. Let's see. Same thing applies here. There's a map view button. Again, it takes us to our viewer, searches for that change, shows the heretofore locations and places of use, and the hereafter are also shown. It creates this item over here and with a legend, so you can refer back to that. Okay. We'll come back to the map viewer in a minute. So Another way to search for a water right is by owner name. I'll search our database for any water right with the owner name of John Smith. Okay. You can also search by the source as it's described. Oops. So that's going to search for Dry Creek. That's going to give me any water right that has a source described as Dry Creek. You'll notice over on the right, these are all water right numbers. You'll notice that the area codes are different. There's lots of dry creeks throughout the state, so you'd have to go through and find the one you're looking for. You could click that water right, takes you to view the details of that water right. Okay, you can also search by point of diversion. If this is done by, you can do it by using the public land survey system. You can search for a radius from a point or within a certain section. So again, takes us to our map viewer and then highlights that township that I just chose, and then we'll map all the water rights within there. These are all the points of diversion within that township. Okay, so another way you can do this is a map search. And then the map search is also, this is one of the best ways to do a search, right here. Okay, so that takes us to our map viewer. There's lots of information available here from many sources. We pull data in from our own data sets, from the USGS, all kinds of places. The UGS with these geologic maps, all kinds of information available here. You can click on show more layers, and you can add even more than what's defaulted. Actually, I'll mention what it was asked about yesterday about the consumptive use tables. We have that layer here, and so I can add that. And these are points for all of the locations where consumptive use calculations have been made. You can click on one, go right to the data for that particular location. Okay. So turn that off. So on here, I think it was mentioned yesterday that some of these layers they don't show up till you zoom in. The main one I want to show is this points of diversion layer. So right now it's not showing anything. I can set this to always show 200, and it'll show the 200 points closest to the center of the map. We don't show more than that just because the data set's huge, but you can come down in, and if you know where you're located, you can find it on the map, and you can see, oh, this is my water right, that's my neighbor's, whatever you're interested in. Any of these are all points of diversion, these icons. So that is a groundwater point of diversion. I can click on that and get a little snapshot of some of the information associated with that water right, and then I can click on this link and take me to view the details. With points of diversion, you can also filter this. So I can, based on the status of the right, the type, You know, if I want to look for water rights changes or exchanges, or just exchanges, I'm only looking for domestic uses. You can filter that down. Also by source, similar to when I did the Dry Creek search, you could type in Dry Creek and it would only show those that are Dry Creek. You can use the priority date. So you can do some good filtering there if you want to find it. You can also use the search, and so you can search by any application number. So you can type in a change number, water right, exchange number, or you can choose an individual type. You can also let's see. You can search for dams, distribution systems like Jared talked about, all this stuff, and have that displayed. So I'm going to search that same water right I was looking at. Oops. Gotta keep my mouse over there. Okay, so on here you can see this is a little different than what I saw before, and that's because I have that layer turned on with all the points of diversion. I can turn that off and I can see what I saw before. Okay, if you run across these with this kind of icon with a number on it, it's because there's multiple items at that location. You can expand it, and so there's at that particular point of diversion, there's actually 3 water rights that use that point. But I can do the search. After I search, I get that information, and you know, maybe I can say, oh, this had some changes on it. I can also click here and it will search for that change and add that information to the map. Let's see. There's also some measurement tools. You can measure distances and areas. You can add annotations to the map if you want to make a little map and then print it off. You can do that, or you can also click on the map. Let's say you want to know the public land survey location at a particular point. Click on that point. It'll give you the latitude and longitude, and then click on convert coordinates. It'll take us to a coordinate converter, and it'll give you UTM coordinates, state plane, and then the public land survey description. These are estimates. They're not surveyed. If you need something surveyed, you'll have to see a surveyor. Let's see. Okay. So lots of good stuff on the map. Let's go back to our search. A couple other ways you can search. We have some lists, different types of lists. For example, a new filings list. If you're interested in things that have been filed within the last 30 days, those can also be mapped. If you want to search for water companies, you can search for those here. Those you can search by county or by the company name. We also have a mail log where you can search by different dates. The mail log, this goes back to about 2002, but basically any correspondence to or from the office gets recorded here, and it's a good place to look for if you suspect something had been mailed, and you'd like to look for a particular water right. You can type in a water right number and see all the correspondence that's taken place for that water right, and then that information would also be in the scanned documents too, most likely. Okay, this was mentioned also under applications and forms. We have an application map wizard. Okay, this is strictly for to accompany an application. This shouldn't be used for proofs or diligence claim maps, which have a higher level of standard for mapping. But for an application map, this works great. It allows you to specify the type. You can add some points of diversion to the map. You just step through this wizard, and in the end, you end up with a nice map that's going to show our division what is really intended by the application. Okay. Okay. Now, under water rights here, we have notices. I can get there. There's a couple ways you can get some notifications. We have the advertising list. This list shows everything that's currently being advertised in the newspapers throughout the state. So if you don't want to look at the newspaper, you can come here, search by county, lots of different ways to sort that and find the information. But that's all the filings currently being advertised throughout the state. We also have this email service you can sign up for. You can create an account here. What this allows you to do there's a couple of things you can sign up for. You can sign up for, we talked about the scanned documents. I can put in a folder name, which is the water right number, and add, I have these 3 on my list. If a scanned document is added to any of those water rights, I'll get an email. Each night, those go out each night. We check our list of people that want to be notified against the things they want to be notified by. Email goes out saying a scanned document was there, and I believe there's a link even to click to get you right to that list of scanned documents. I can also search for get notifications of new filings, and this I can do. There's a few different ways. I can choose a point and a radius, or I can choose a water right area. I can do a custom area where I just click out a polygon that I'm interested in. If there's a point of diversion located within that area, that geographic area on a new filing, I will get an email saying that today if something was filed and a way to get to that. Got a question here. Okay, yeah. So the question was, how do we get to the notices, okay? The way to get to the notices is you go under Programs and Water Rights, and you just hover over these and the menus pop up, and then Notices, okay? And then that was the email service. All right? Okay. Also under water rights, one more thing we want to show is we've got a section called Rules and Procedures, okay? And then under this link of appropriation policy, we have a duty map link, okay? This allows you to get to a couple versions, a printable map, and also you can actually a link that'll take you to our map viewer and the duty. Somebody asked about the duty of water earlier today, and I'll just click on it, and that's one of the layers that can be shown in our map. So you can zoom in, out, and add the points of diversion and figure out what duty corresponds to the location you're interested in. Also we've got the use calculator. Willa went through an exercise yesterday of figuring out the amount of acre feet required for a set of uses. This calculator allows you to do it. There's some default values already put in, but you can change those. So you have the irrigation duty, what an ELU is, 0.28 feet, that was discussed. And then you can come down here and actually put in the number of acres, the number of domestic units, stock units. Actually with this, you can actually put in your types of animal and it will get your ELUs, convert those and then it'll give you the total water rights. So pretty handy tool for that. Okay. All right, back to the home page. A few more things I want to show you. Under data, we have a link to publications. Any publications related to water rights can be found here. We have a lot of technical publications that were done on our behalf that describe hydrology. Those can be all found here. Proposed determinations, lots of different publications dealing with water rights. We have this GIS maps link. This will take you to all things map related. Anything that we have GIS, we have a page where you can download GIS shape files for use in GIS software. Let's see. There's actually, if anyone's interested, there's links that we can provide to download stuff directly from our database. So if you want to download all of our water rights database, you can do that. So I also want to talk about groundwater. So we have anything related to groundwater, this is the place to go under data and groundwater. There's a lot of information. We have a link here to information on recharge and recovery projects that Kurt just talked about. You can see the projects, you can see their accounts, what's been recharged, the amounts that have been recovered. Those are all viewable. We have a link to groundwater management plans. Our groundwater policy map that describes where groundwater is open for new appropriations or where it's closed or restricted. Actually click on that. And then so this map shows the locations of those groundwater management plans. And then along with that, let's see. We've got a new tool. This has been added fairly recently, a groundwater level trend viewer. It allows you can zoom in or choose a predetermined area. And what this does is this, if it works, there we go. You can see, it might be kind of hard to see, but there are points all across here. And what that's doing is grabbing a set of those points and over on the right, giving us a trend of the groundwater level at that point. This data is being pulled live from the USGS. And it's, so I can zoom in. If there's one I'm interested in, I just hover on it and it shows that one in red compared to others in the area. And then there's other options that you can use. But if you're interested in how groundwater levels are trending in a particular area, that's a really handy tool to get that data and get it plotted on a chart really quick. We also have this groundwater model automated simulation tool. Actually, let me go back. Groundwater models are used extensively in water rights. You know, we use them to make policy, to help guide us on approval of applications at times. And so those groundwater models right here, we have a link to just download in that model data if you know how to use that particular information, and it's all there available. But then we also have this tool that uses those models to make some quick predictions. I'll just run through one of those just real quick. So here's the model. In black on the map is shown the model domain. I can simulate. So, and I can either pick a latitude and longitude, or I can click on the map of where I think I'm going to put a well right here. Maybe. There we go. And I'm going to say I'm going to divert 500 acre feet, and it's between 200 and 300 feet deep. That's where it's screened. And I can run this simulation. So that's running and stuff, but what this does is it's going to give me the impacts that are due to that well, the drawdown or the change in the aquifer levels that would occur due to that well. And it's only, and that's all it's going to tell me. It's not, this doesn't, I can't run drought scenarios, you know, I can just do it based on what the model already has in it. And so over here on the map, you can see it produces some contours of different depths of drawdown, and then also produces a viewable report with the same information. But that can be used to, if a well is going in, that can give you a quick idea of here's what the long-term impacts to the water levels might happen. Okay. This tool will not tell you what the impacts to other sources might be. It's just the groundwater level. So it's if you've got a nearby stream, it's not going to tell you what's going to happen to that stream. Okay, the last thing. You can click on this banner at any time, take you back to the home page. The last thing I want to show you is flow records. We have a couple different types. Well, we have a lot of flow records, but the main ones I wanted to show you are distribution systems that Jared talked to us about. We can get a lot of information for them, but if I were to choose I'll choose Weber River. That's a distribution system. I can get information about the assessments and accounting, commissioner reports, the annual reports that they produce for their annual meetings, and I can also see water records. So this is giving me a list of all the locations where they're keeping records of water being diverted. This one's a pretty long list. There are a number of locations where we record what we call real-time values. These are instantaneous values. So at this particular location, Beaver Creek near Grist Mill, a value was taken just at 10:55, so about 45 minutes ago, and that's what the flow was at that diversion point. These can also be mapped. These are all the diversion points for that system. The green ones are the ones that have real time, and for those I can click on it. And there's links to go to the information for that particular diversion station. And also I can get that real time reading if that's available. Okay, another type of flow record that we have are those of the public water suppliers. Okay, so I can click on this link to public water suppliers and click on water use data. And I get a list of all the entities that report to us. You'll notice there's a column called type. There's three types: public, management plan, industrial. Industrial that's kind of self-explanatory. They're pretty much non-ag users of water that we've asked to report to us. Management plan are just for whatever reason we've asked these people to report, and then public are those that are required to report as public water suppliers. And if I choose one of these entities, I can then view their historic information, what they've submitted to us. And then as you scroll down, you get information all the way down to what was diverted from each source. And then again, we can view that information on a map. And if it's available, depending on what type of public water supplier it is, there may be a system boundary and the political boundary also that could show up with that. Oh, let me turn off the points of diversion. So these are the points that, and then this, the number is the last year's water use at that location. And make sure I've covered everything I need to. Believe so. Is there any questions? Got a couple. Let's wait for the mic.
Hi there. I have a couple questions.
Okay.
When you're searching, like in the name, can you use search characters like asterisk and question mark?
No,
Okay.
sorry.
Do you keep a list of the private water companies on the site anywhere?
Yes. So let me just show you that real quick. Under water rights search, I can click here, water companies and entities.
Okay.
And then I can choose a county and get,
Okay.
okay.
Good. And then on the correspondence section, if I were to write in and say I'm mad at my neighbor because he's taking too many turns at his right, and someone were to respond, is that going to now show to anyone who gets into the correspondence section?
Yeah, it will.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Good to know.
Now, the mail log, yeah, we are an office of public record. We don't hide anything, so.
Okay, so not all correspondence is on there. Like suppose I call and ask a follow-up question to this. Is that
No,
on there
it
even?
would be mail correspondence.
Okay, so it's sort of water right related or
Yeah.
whatever related.
Yeah.
Okay, and then just a comment. This website is so amazing.
Thank you.
We are really, really lucky to have this in Utah. It's so well done from every direction. Other states don't have anything like this, so, we really appreciate it. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, now, thank you for the website. Thank you for putting it together. Appreciate that. Have you had problems with map searches using addresses? I'm using a PC. I'm using Google Chrome, and I put in addresses I can get to come up on Google Maps, but they'll pull up no address found when I try to do a map search, even after I spell everything out.
Not that I'm aware of, but I don't actually do a lot of address searches personally. So,
You
but
can
if
let
there,
whoever is in charge of that know now.
yes, I can. Or if there's a specific one, tell me about it, and we'll get it fixed. Anything else? Okay. Thanks for your time.